Hey there guys, how you doing? It is me, Alex Winkle, once again, and I wanted to talk to you about another game and hopefully, share some ideas that you can probably use for your own RPGs. The name of the game for today is a game called Hecatomb. Let's see if that picture goes in right. Yeah, they use reflective sleeves here for the cards, so you're gonna see my camera set up every now and then, but there you go. So the reason why I wanted to showcase this game for you guys today is because while the actual mechanics themselves are very similar to Magic the Gathering in terms of, you put down a card, whatever color that card was gives you that type of, mana, if you will. One of the really cool, parts of this game is a thing called stitching monsters, and it's not the thing that I'm going to highlight as being the only thing to include in your games, but it is something that is very, very neat. Alright, so let's start off by bringing out one of the cards here to show you here. That's called the Bowl of Minos. And this is what happens when you have just a single monster. It has its mana cost up and top and followed by, the actual picture. The artwork is really cool for this game too, so it might be one of those things you want to go check out just for the artwork alone. But the way it starts out is, it starts with a strength of 4, and then this minion gets +1 strength for each minion in this abomination. Now, abomination, that's key to this, because what ends up happening is when you summon your monster, the basic part. If you want to attack with it, you have to summon and stitch them. That's what's called stitching, in order to make an abomination. So now I put the other card on top of it, and as you can see, there's 2 different abilities, and whatever abilities are in this stack count. They add up. So this monster not only gets +1 strength for each other minion in the abomination, so there's 2. It also has an additional 2 strength and the ability Parasite, which is something that you really don't need to know because it's not really that important. But the thing that makes it so darn special is the concept of stacking things in the middle of a fight. Not only like combos, special powers, even comboing heroes together as in team combats. So instead of having a grid for everything, in terms of having your 1-inch square be a 5-foot square, 5 foot by 5 foot, you could instead group heroes together in a pairing by stacking them on top of each other and highlighting like what kind of bonus they give as a team. So like superhero teams and all that kind of stuff, this is a really cool idea to add to your games because it just highlights the importance each member has for each other and what they can do for each other, as a group. Like putting Batman and Robin separately. They each have their own ability, but then when you combine them into one, they have extra strength and their abilities combined together, giving them special powers. So that's a really cool idea, just from that alone. Then on top of that, when you have a stack like this is a cool idea for for combat, especially close quarters combat, aka melee, grappling, that kind of combat, where they just dogpile one on top of the other. And that is pretty darn bitchin', I ain't gonna lie. Where one player just jumps on one of another, and all these effects are going off in a cascade effect. I think it's really cool, and it's something you should be adding. You should consider adding in your game. I've done it before myself, and it was a hoot and a holler on the times it was done. And that's about it for today. I mean, the game has some cool parts to it in terms of the actual play, but overall, there's not really much to glean from it that you wouldn't get from your average game like Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic the Gathering. So, see you next time.